Whenever you're ready, it's rolling. Obviously, we'll cut it.
That's a worry.
Yeah.
Tune into Is It Fast live every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT. You are welcome.
Hi, I'm Daniel Rowbottom, racing the British Touring Car Championship with Team Dynamics, and you're watching Is It Fast?
Hi guys, it's Nick Hamilton, and you're watching Is It Fast?
It's 7 p.m. It's a Wednesday. Must be time for Is It Fast.
Oh, it's 7 p.m. It's a Wednesday. Welcome to Is It Fast Live. Whether you're listening to us through the two satellite dishes attached to the side of your, I'm quite sure, beautiful face, or you are watching us with your eyeballs, welcome back. This is the very first show of Season 4. If you're listening in a Hispanic country, that's Season Cuatro. We can't quite believe it, but we are back, and we have an insanely busy show for you this evening. And what's better than one stew? Two stews. Other stew is here as well. Fire in the booth!
And you know what? I'm just delighted to be back on the Weekly Is It Fast podcast under the more than capable guidance of Stu. As I have no pronouns, I just simply identify as a burden. We had a great, fun couple of weeks off. I went door to door selling Avon. That went relatively well. But during the podcast break, I totally forgot how expensive outside was. I mean, like, fuel prices are so high. Taxi drivers, I believe, are actually now starting to take the shortest route possible. This is this must be something else. And I mean, kind of, police in Dover apparently have discovered 5,000 litres of petrol hidden amongst a shipment of cocaine.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's a
Thank
top bants on the way back there. Top bants.
Awesome.
Well done.
I really appreciate it. But just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, welcome back to Is It Fast?
Welcome back to Is It Fast? This is indeed a day, no, an evening to be happy and fortuitous. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you are listening or watching us live, thank you very much for joining us at this very special curtain raiser of Season 4. And we have an awful lot to talk about this week. So we're going to jump straight in with something that happened over the weekend. Some of you might be familiar with a small, ever increasing in popularity racing championship called Formula One. So Formula One made an appearance this weekend, and as per always, it wasn't without controversy. No one really knew because of the change of regulation and how things were swapping around. It was possibly the biggest shake-up in a generation in terms of the Formula One car, its tyres, and how everybody was going to perform. The season started this year in Bahrain, and if you don't know what happened, you're probably living under a rock. We had a Ferrari 1-2, a very happy Charles Leclerc bringing home the victory. Carlos Sainz doing an incredible job bringing up the second spot, and then we had the Red Bulls, who were pretty hot on for a first and a third, if not a second, ended up basically pooping their own engine pants, and it was game over pretty swiftly. But Charles Leclerc was happy with Lewis Hamilton finishing in third. Very unlikely. What on earth happened in Bahrain, Stu?
You know what? Before we even go into Bahrain, F1 very rarely has a quiet off-season, but this was one like no other. New car designs, new liveries, new race directors, plural, new drivers, new tracks being added, even a new name for Lewis Hamilton. He's now including his mother's maiden name. Was it Lar Ballister or something like that, which I think is actually from Game of Thrones. We're now one race down, 22 to go. Brilliant win for Charles Leclerc, who actually admitted it was incredible to drive a car that was capable of winning. I think that's a really interesting dig to take at your employer, who also looks after your brakes. Let's be fair. Ferrari 1-2, we've really not seen that in a while. Here's one for you, Stu. You're very knowledgeable. When was the last Ferrari 1-2?
You're going to hate me. 2018.
Oh, was it?
I don't know. Was it?
Is that your final answer?
Oh, no! Yes.
I'm afraid, actually, Ferrari's last win, as well as their last 1-2, was Singapore 2019.
Oh, I was
Sebastian
close.
Vettel coming on top. You were pretty close, yeah.
I was
But
pretty
it's
close.
amazing that a powerhouse the size of Ferrari has
Mm.
been that out of the game for this long. Some brilliant battles on the track between Leclerc and Verstappen. Do you think every time Leclerc was overtaken, he came back, he was kind of doing this allo impression to say, "It is I, Leclerc"? Or
Oh, very good. Our
Thank you.
more seasoned viewers and listeners will understand that one.
Yes, exactly. I
A
hope
completely and
somebody's-
totally racially correct show called Hello Hello. It was absolutely banging. Absolutely no stereotypes.
Obviously,
there.
pointing out, I do know Leclerc is actually Moroccan. He's not French. I do want to say that. Very angry, very frustrating for Max Verstappen, and a very fortunate Lewis Hamilton. And also a big up to George Russell as well. Best place for his career so far. Well done, man.
Yes. I mean, everyone's discounting his second place. That's what I enjoy. So
Oh, really?
So he got second in Spa, but everyone's like, no, he didn't. He absolutely didn't. So that was.
I take that back. Then my
No.
apologies.
Everybody's saying it. Everyone's like, oh, it's the best finish of his career. So he did finish second at Spa. It's like, yeah, but the race didn't actually happen. So he didn't actually finish second. It's quite interesting. But yeah, it's a good thing we've gotten 6 minutes into the show. Charles Leclerc, Stu, he's from Monaco, mate.
It's from Monaco. Oh, I thought he was Moroccan.
He's
I must have just read that. This is you just taking revenge for the whole kind of Bubba Watson thing last year.
Oh yeah, there's a hangover from last season.
That's
but
it.
But yeah, it is. Do you know what? It is. Everything you say is right. It is, apart from the things that were factually incorrect. It is the off season. The off season is rarely quiet. This off season, just so you know, these cars were meant to come in last year. Just if you didn't know, a huge change in regulation, downforce cars, which they've not been around since the early 80s, where basically all of the aerodynamic fluidity and basically the cars are stuck to the ground rather than being pushed to the ground. It's a slight physics thing, which I'm not entirely sure of myself. And that has caused all sorts of issues in pre-season for all sorts of different teams. But Ferrari are back. And I've got to say, the Ferrari-powered cars, because there are Ferrari customer teams in the Formula One grid. So Haas, holy heck for Haas. Fifth place finish for Magnussen after being popped back into that seat after Mr. Mazepin was fired for being... I don't know, was he fired for being Russian? Was he just fired?
Exactly.
To be honest, he was fired because he's been a long-term twerp. He just happens to be Russian, if I'm honest.
But it was probably the straw that broke the Russian camel back there.
Probably. I probably think it was. But great. What a genius move by Haas. Use all the Mazepin money to develop this car, then sack him and bring an actual driver back in. Smart.
Well done.
Yeah, but Haas... Alfa Romeo. I mean, I'm an Alfisti. I'm an Alfa Romeo fan. I own an Alfa Romeo. I am an Alfa Romeo guy. Although that will change later on the show. Stay tuned. Incredible first race. It was a bit boring in the middle there, but it all went a bit mad, and even down to the tires and how they degrade. But do tell us, what did you think of the first race of the season in Bahrain? Because it was a doozy.
It was. I've got to put it to you, though. We've obviously got a lot of exciting racing ahead of us. What track race are you most looking forward to, Stu? And who's going to be the surprise driving package this year?
Well, there's lots of opinions on this over at isitfast.co.uk from a number of our writers and contributors. So do make sure you go over and see what they think about the season ahead. But if you're asking my opinion, which you are,
I did.
I am most looking forward to Imola. I think that's going to be really, really good. I'm looking forward to Spa this year as well, because we might actually have a race, which would be great. I always enjoy Spa. I think it's incredible. I'm quite looking forward to, I know you said one, but I'm going to give you three. Miami being on the calendar. Everyone's hating on Miami, but I think it's going to be visually quite impressive. Surprise driver package. You know what? Alfa Romeo. I think they're going to surprise a few people, just because they're just so closely aligned to Ferrari, and Ferrari are going to do really well this year.
Yeah.
So I do think that one of our writers, Jesse, isitfast.co.uk. Make sure you head over and read all of his articles. He's an incredibly talented young man. He thinks Alpha are going to do rubbish, but I think they're going to do really well. So yeah, I've been a big Bottas fan for a while, despite his flaws as a driver. So Bottas in an Alfa Romeo is almost, if I could pick my perfect driver car combo from a fan perspective, that's my call. That's my call. Dare I ask you the same question?
Yeah, please. Obviously, I'll get the nationality completely and utterly wrong at some point, but let's not really worry about that.
We're all international citizens.
Exactly. It's only mild xenophobia at the end of the day. It's absolutely fine. One of my favourite tracks to go to, the Italian, really has to be, and it's going to be even better this year with a fantastic biased crowd and this amazing Ferrari car, and the fact that the shape of the track looks like a fat budgie, which I always quite enjoy.
It does, yeah. Monza does, yeah.
Surprise package for me has got to be Honda. Their Sanoda. For me, if he can cut out some of the mistakes and get a little bit more consistency, I reckon he's going to surprise a few folk.
Yeah, I mean, he did really well in Bahrain. He brought that AlphaTauri. In fact, that was the only Honda engine that finished the race in that AlphaTauri, because the other two in the Red Bulls stopped, and Gasly's in the back of his other AlphaTauri was literally set on fire. Yeah. So Tsunoda scored points in Bahrain. Yeah, I think so. Did you watch? Because he's quite an interesting, and this is quite a good segue. Because Tsunoda in Drive to Survive, it was quite interesting to see his starting from being quite an immature young man in Milton Keynes to moving over to living in Italy, where AlphaTauri are based, and all the rest of it. So it's quite interesting. Okay.
Well, we are on season 4 now, so we are starting to see a lot more of a narrative from some of the lesser known drivers.
Yeah, I mean it's all rubbish, but we'll move on. We'll move on to Drive to Survive very quickly in a second. But the Formula One season is upon us. A little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, there are 23 races in this year's Formula One Championship season for 2022. One of which was due to be in Sochi, which, as you may or may not know, is in the Soviet Russia. And so that's been dropped, and rightfully so, replacing all the rumours and all the kind of everybody who knows something is saying it's going to be replaced by Qatar. Just so if you're wondering where the 23rd Grand Prix, which has been dropped off the calendar, it's back on. Looks like it's going to be in Qatar. So the Middle East.
No controversy around Qatar whatsoever.
Absolutely no controversy whatsoever. It'll probably be it'll probably be at the same time as well. Can't remember when Sochi was meant to be. Summertime. So Qatar in the summer, banging. Can't see what can possibly go wrong. But there we go. What a season we've got ahead of us all. Do tell us, if you're listening, if you're watching, tell us, what did you think of the Bahrain Grand Prix? Is Leclerc a title contender? And what do you think this season is going to look like come its end? Because I cannot wait to see how it looks. It's proving to be very, very exciting, which is fundamentally what we all wanted. Isn't that right? Isn't that right?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
A question that all petrol heads love to ask: C'est rapide? Is it fast? Ist schnell?
Ja, ist schnell. Just a quick shout out to Razorwire. They're not paying me for this, but they have been in partnership with us for something very cool that's coming out in about 2 or 3 weeks on the Is It Fast social media channels and Is It Fast TV YouTube channel. Make sure that you do subscribe to us on your social media platform of choice if you aren't already, to make sure that you watch many of the things that we get up to. We have some incredible stuff going out. We've had some incredible stuff go out while this live show has been off air. It never stops. The conveyor belt carries on. So yeah, shout out to Matt and the team at Razorwire for keeping us energized and razor wired. I don't know if that's a thing.
The verb to razor wire. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be. Very quickly before we move on to real news, Drive to Survive came back just on the eve of the Formula One season. I'm not going to show any clips for fear of being sued, but I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. Please tell us what you think. I'm done with it.
Yeah, are you 3 seasons and done? That's well, I know we're into 4 now, but
I was kind of done at season 3, if I'm honest, because as a Formula One fan, season 1 and 2, I was like, okay, this is cool. There's a behind the scenes. I like to get to know. I'm a bit of obviously, bit of a nerd when it comes to certain things. I like to see the mechanics of a team. Having worked, obviously, we work closely with motorsport teams around the world, so it's always nice to see how the Formula One side do it. Then it started to turn into a bit of a Made in Chelsea kind of narrative, kind of basically Christian Horner's really annoying me, and and I've met Christian Horner, I've interviewed him, and he's not an annoying guy, and he's not an arse. He's a nice guy, and I just think the cameras are putting everybody off. And this season, I'm just like, it's just making narratives out of things that don't exist. Thoughts on the back of a postcard, please.
yeah, it's not quite fly on the wall. It's more fly on a visor, isn't it? Sometimes, definitely a little more orchestrated, and you can understand why. Can you imagine Adrian Newley of Red Bull kind of saying, "Oh, guys, come in. Yeah, we're just doing some tweaks to the engine. Yeah, come and have a closer look."
Yeah.
It does give us a little bit more of the human and approachable and widens the narrative for some lesser known drivers, which is great. But it's doing a really good job building the F1 audience, the power of the Netflix, especially in America. And I can only imagine their shock and excitement when they can see a car turn right. So that's something really good as well. Certainly, one of our very talented writers, Vanshita, provides a great synopsis on each episode.
She does.
So please come over to the Is It Fast website and check out her reviews of Drive to Survive if you can't be bothered watching them. It's not a great read, so fair play.
Yes, agreed. It is, read what she thinks rather than watching it. If I'm honest with you, it's a way better use of your time. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it. I don't really see the point. But it's one of these things really with Drive to Survive. But do tell us, what do you think of the season 4, as you say, Drive to Survive? I think they've probably got another run in them, season 5, and then that'll be it. Hopefully, I get it. I get it's drawing audiences. I think it's probably the Americans are enjoying it a little bit more than anybody else at this stage, but not really for me anymore. I enjoyed it, and now I don't. But then I'm like that with a lot of things.
So how long do I have left?
Well, we're on season 4, mate. So it's getting pretty close to cancellation. I mean, I'm not. You might do something that gets us cancelled anyway. So it might be or me, or somebody else.
That's fair.
Yeah, we do flirt with controversy. But there we go. Drive to Survive season 4. Are you watching it? Yes or no? Have you watched it? Yes or no? And if you have or haven't or will or won't, please tell us why you can or cannot be bothered with it. We are interested to know. Yeah, my lies are starting to sound more convincing.
And now some more stuff from Is It Fast. Yay!
News from the automotive world, and this is unfounded, unsubstantiated to a degree, but our friends over at Autocar, the kind of friend that doesn't know they're your friend because they don't know who I am, they are speaking about this. They did mention, yes, I know. They did mention that Abarth are coming back to the party with an all-electric model. So, Abarth, if you don't know, performance side of the Fiat range, and they do and have done an Abarth 500, 595, 695, 495, I believe, as well. Postos, all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. I quite like the Abarth. I would never own one because of the seating position. If you don't believe me, try one for yourself. They are wanting to turn Abarth into the electric performance arm of their fleet. So, makes sense that this image rendered by Autocar, thank you very much, very good rendering, that the Abarth 500 EV is very close to being officially announced. We don't know what it's going to look like. This is, as I say, Autocar's rendition of it. So an all-electric 500 could be a thing. There's not much more on it other than that. The Abarth, the Fiat 500, electric is already a thing. That's what it looks like. If you're watching it, it looks like a normal Fiat 500, albeit with slightly more electric-y kind of visors. And so there we go. There's not a lot to talk about because we don't know anything about it. It's probably going to be quick. It'll be similar to this, and that's it. The Fiat 500 is already electric. The Abarth 500 electric being announced is not a surprise.
No, not really. The Abarth, this is what a posh person has when they're dirty. It really, the rendering really just looks like a Fiat 500 crossed with a Chrysler Cruiser. An electric car is fun to drive, brilliant for the little kind of coastal short journeys, but that's kind of it. As you said, the seat positionings aren't great. But I'm going to contradict myself here. I really like the look of this. I like the white trims on it. The small white front grille's lovely with the wee secondary lights. The little lights here, if you're not watching along, they look like the old Fuji film cameras that used to, like the lenses used to get back in the day. I really like this. One thing they have suggested, though, that it's going to only really have a range of under 200 miles, which isn't a great deal. They are talking about a strap-on battery pack. Be careful how you say that. That's going to be able to take it over the 300-mile mark for us there. But something else that they've also suggested, I don't know if you picked up on this, that they're going to give you an option of a fake petrol engine sounding soundtrack to it to basically make it sound more carry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you're going to give me a false noise in a car, I really want it to sound like Concorde or the Millennium Falcon. I think that'd be a lot better.
Tesla probably already doing that rubbish,
Yeah,
aren't they?
probably.
Let's be honest.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the Fiat 500, you feel every single bump you go over. They're hard to get in and out of, and the boot is so small and totally impractical.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
this
will be good. I mean, it's a city car. You know, it's a small city car. They sell in zillions of numbers. An electric Abarth 500 makes perfect sense. We don't know anything about it. It's going to be announced soon. Autocar have said this, not us. So, you know, fair play. I like the Abarth. I like Abarths. I just wouldn't have one. I mean, and they've also been around for a long time, 12-ish years, I believe. You know, so they've been around for a long, long time. Did have an Abarth 595 for 2 days on test once, and yeah, it was great. Just that ruddy seating position. But tell us what you think. Are you excited about the electric Abarth 500 or not? I mean, there's basically only two options. If I'm completely honest with you, there's really not much more to it. And so yeah, tell us what you think. I'm actually quite interested to know. I don't think anyone's interested for me to know. No. Yeah, people are interested in what I think. Rubbish.
You're tuned in to Is It Fast? And we're live, which is why it's so bad.
I don't think we're that bad. I think we've improved. Going from the sublime to the damn right gorgeous and ridiculous. This time last week, Aston Martin did the right thing. They did the right thing, and they announced an Aston Martin Vantage. They announced Vantage with a V12. So, if you don't know, Aston Martin have a great configurator. So I went over to Aston Martin's configurator, and I configured an Aston Martin V12 Vantage in Is It Fast spec, which, if you're watching us, is what you're seeing right now. But the Aston Martin Vantage, it's not the first time Vantage has come with a V12, obviously, but they're going to make just 333 examples of the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. All of them were sold prior to its unveiling for a starting price, 265 grand, £123,000 more than the previous range-topping Vantage F1 edition. It's the third and final iteration of the V12 engine Vantage that Aston Martin will ever make, because obviously this is the world we live in. There's nothing wrong with that. Progress hurts. Change can be good. But V12s in the world that we live in, I mean, if you've got a V12 right now with petrol prices, I'm going to... you don't want to know.
I think if you've got a V12, you're really not that bothered about petrol prices.
That's true. But if you're wondering, what are the upgrades against the standard Vantage? Yes, I know. You have a power increase, obviously, because otherwise, what's the point? So you've got yourself a nice wobbling V12, 20% increase over the standard model. So that means you've got 385 brake horsepower per ton. It's absolutely hair-raising with 0 to 60, like 3 seconds-ish. It is just a much more aggressive stance. You've got upgraded dampeners, you've got upgraded brakes, you've got upgraded carbon fiber, everything. Lightweight battery in there even, and the exhaust system itself saves 7.2 kilograms on its own. The exhaust on this, a brand new exhaust system, double in the middle rather than kind of at the sides, which I also enjoy. I've got to be honest, I saw the Vantage when it was originally unveiled in its new format back in 2018. Very lucky. Yeah, very lucky to go down to Mayfair and have a go at one. In the V8 Vantage. Love Vantage, love the old Vantage, love the new Vantage, love Vantage in general. And I'm just glad to see it continuing into V12, albeit in limited numbers. I think it's probably the right thing to do, truth be told. So, Aston Martin, V12 Vantage, what do we think? Please tell us in the comments. It looks like the standard Vantage, only cooler.
Yeah, very much so. Are we allowed to say sploosh on a podcast?
I think we're allowed to say, even with the new YouTube ratings, I think we're still allowed to say sploosh and it not fall into another bracket.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Yeah. Even when they were giving us the teasers last week, this thing is just stunning. Curves in all the right places. Turn the key of this and heads will turn. This is exactly the point of driving a car with a V12 engine on it. Obviously, they're trying to give us a one last time for the Aston Martin Vantage here. The last true heir marks an end of an era. So, kind of, what's next?
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Aston thing is, I'm going to get a bit. I love Aston Martin. Just caveat this: I love Aston Martin as a brand. I think they're fantastic. I look at, I look past the Aston have never had it easy, financially or otherwise. Right? They're either it's build quality or it's profitability or whatever the problem is. It just doesn't seem to. One billionaire or millionaire owner after the other never seems to get it right with Aston. And I don't know, its price point, I thought Vantage at 110 or whatever it was when it first came out, it's too expensive. It's meant to be the entry level Vantage. I know, like, Vantage in 2005 was 80 grand, and I know things change and all the rest of it. I just think you need to be, if you're going to charge Porsche prices, you need to give Porsche quality. That's just the reality of it. I've got no problem with Aston Martin being a little bit woe, a little bit way, a little bit liberal in the old, makeup department. I'm fine with that. But just don't charge me what a Porsche is going to be. Like, it's just the reality, because Porsche build quality is just so much better. The future, I don't know. They've done Valkyrie, they've done Vulcan, they've done, or whatever it is, their F1 team and all this malarkey. They're obviously going to go electric, like everybody, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, I don't know, man. They seem to not ever really know what direction they're going in and what's going to come next and how they're going to do it. And obviously Vantage, they're saying this V12 is going to find its way into other models now, and that's fine. And Lamborghini have said they're going to carry on with the V12, so I guess Aston have to, and then, all the rest of it. I just don't see where they seem to lurch from one cool thing, but lurch from one thing to the other, and there's never really an answer for Aston. I mean, I'd go out if I had the cash. I'd go out and get an Aston Martin over any of the other brands right now in that mark. I'd have an Aston Martin Vantage over a Porsche 911, despite everything. I'd have a Vantage over Mercedes AMG GT, despite everything. I just would, but that's not enough for a band like this to survive, So I don't know, man. I don't know what's down the road for Aston. They never die, but they never have great ideas. So I don't know.
It is peculiar. I do agree with everything you're saying there. They seem to have the price tag without the end product, which is baffling for a name like Aston Martin. Do you think they're resting on their laurels too much?
I don't know. They have had a problem for a long time, though. You go back to the Vantage before this. I mean, the DB7 was good. The DB9 was good. DBS was good. The Volante was good, but they're all inherently flawed. You go back to the 90s, there were a shower of shocking rocking horse manure.
Hmm.
Cool and bonkers, but go back to the 80s. It's like 50s and 60s Astons seem to be pinnacle Aston. Then after that, they started to struggle a bit, and I think. What are Ferrari doing? Why aren't Ferrari struggling in the way that Aston are? Because Ferrari had their problems. Lamborghini, fair enough, Audi kind of bailed them out. But how come Lamborghini aren't struggling? And the DBX doesn't seem to be solving the problem that Aston Martin thought they were trying to solve. We'll do an SUV and that'll fix everything. And I don't know. I'm not privy to the inner workings of Aston Martin. I don't know. And I can only assume it's the stigma that it comes. Oh, get an Aston. They're great. They sound great. They drive great. But it's gonna cause you problems. Like it's gonna break down. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that. And they haven't really. I don't really know how they fix those problems. And I have the same issue as an Alfa owner, and it's the same as Maserati, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's all these kind of things where are they fighting against their own brand because of the issues they've had in the past? Because car owners, and we're fickle. We remember these things. It's like, I've got an Aston Martin. Yeah, how far did you get in it? Until you just don't. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. Why don't you tell us what the answer is in the comments, everybody? Because I loved it. I mean, we've got off track a bit. This V12 Vantage is beautiful, but it's not. You're not going to. It's not going to fix the sales problems. You're not going to sell. You can't. They're limited, so you can't sell a boatload of them. The DB11 should have done a lot more of the heavy lifting. Vantage, V8 Vantage should have done a lot more. And DBX should be selling like the Urus, or Ferrari announcing their new SUV soon. There was a teaser today. It's all very exciting. But at the same time, DBX should be being sold by their bucket load.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's disappointing. I don't think we'll ever see them disappear, but I just think we'll keep seeing them lurching backwards and forwards,
I must say, though, in the Is It Fast colours, this does look awesome.
Yeah. So the black... I can't remember the names of the colours. I did this while I should have been, doing something proper. But, the black with the red, there was a couple of choices of red on there. I really should have noted down what they are. Yeah. Is It Fast Spec V12 Vantage looks chef's kiss. It looks really quite good.
It looks a little bit like the Adam West Batmobile.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
I like it.
And that's
not a
bad
criticism.
thing.
No, it's not. No.
But yeah,
why doesn't Batman or Is It Fast dance anymore?
No, yeah, Karate Kid. Don't know why I said that. I'm very excited to be back on air. But tell us what you think. The V12 Vantage, does it tickle your pickle? Is it the kind of Aston that you think, yeah, okay, where is Aston Martin? Are they a little bit anonymous other than the stuff that they try and do at the moment? Tell us what you think, because I'm genuinely interested in where you sit on it. Because it's a tough one. You triggered me with the old Aston Martin conversation there, mate. If I'm honest with you, it was it's a tough one.
Yeah, I could have went away, got myself a cup of tea, and come back. You should have been chatting.
Yeah, well, you could have done, but I do love Aston Martin. I really do, and they're on my list. You can pick up a relatively good Vantage for about 29 grand. Thing is, it's the brave pill, isn't it? Like you're taking a chance. Don't worry, I just got myself an Aston Martin Vantage with 78,000 miles on the clock. What could possibly go wrong? But then I've driven them before, and they seem all right to me. They seem all right to me. They're probably not.
Tune into Is It Fast live every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT. You are welcome.
News from the car world, something to get very excited about. Maserati seem to be going from strength to strength at the minute, in my personal opinion. First with the brand new MC20, and now we have got this. This is the Maserati Gracali. What you're looking at, if you're watching, is the Trofeo. Is it a Trofeo? Well, whatever. It is a beautiful Macan-style SUV, and it is what everybody is excited about, up to and including myself. I will admit, I'm looking into how to get one. This is so based on the Stelvio, which is the sister car to the Gracali. Gracali, if you're wondering, is the Italian word for Greek. And the Maserati boffins down at Modena, where Maserati are manufactured and come from, they have been busy at work. So basically, you'll be able to get yourself 3 variants of this SUV from birth, 3 petrol engines, 2 variants of the 3-litre Nettuno V6, which is borrowed from Ferrari. All right, just to let you know, and is used in the MC20 supercar, which none of us have really seen. I saw it in the flesh once about 9 months ago, and it was fit. So, top spec Trofeo, a 4-cylinder mild hybrid entry-level Gracali GT will also be available. I'll be honest, I've had a little research. All of the options, up to and including the entry option, look like you can't really lose. The V6 is tuned to give it 325 brake horsepower, 332 pound-foot of torque, 0 to 62 in 5.3 seconds. That's for the Modena. Then the Trofeo bumps those figures to 523 brake horsepower. So the Trofeo in the Maserati range is the top of the line. And 523 brake horsepower, 457 pound-foot of torque brings you down to 3.8 seconds, 0 to 60, which is absolutely mental, and means it's quicker than a BMW X3M competition, which is really putting it in incredible peer group there. And there's a mild hybrid, 296 brake horsepower, twin turbocharged 2-litre unit, which gives it 5.6 to 60 and a 30 to 32 mile per gallon. Who cares? All very, very, very interesting. The point is, it finally looks like the brand with a pointy trident on the front is going to be back. A couple of design cues as well from Maserati's historic range at the back. They reckon that the lights are akin to the boomerang in the 3200 GT, a car that has been reviewed on Is It Fast. I suggest you go back into our back catalogue and have a look. It's early days of Is It Fast, but it was a good video. I burnt the clutch out on a Maserati 3200 GT. It was not a good look.
I remember that story. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. There you go. Gave the keys back and went, ooh, it's a bit broken. Bye-bye. But there we go. The Maserati Gracali SUV. I absolutely adore it. I am currently looking. I'm getting all YouTubery. Oh, will I get one? Look at my spec. Oh, clickbait. But genuinely, I want to replace the Stelvio with it. So there we go. Welcome back, Mazza. We love you.
You know what? I love it when we agree on things. It's just a shame it's not going to happen here.
Oh, no.
I'm really not feeling this. Have you seen it in the yellow? It just looks like a Renault Megane.
Get in the sea.
It's so dull. If you saw this on the road, you could actually mistake it for a slightly bigger Ford Puma. And you know what? I don't have the time or the crayons to explain to you why you're wrong. Like the interior is also so uninspiring. The black, the chrome, and the stitching to match the color of the exterior paint job. Even with this 4-screen setup, it looks really cramped and boring. There's a 12.3-inch central infotainment screen, an 8.8-inch touchpad for climate control, and for some reason they've added a new digital clock mounted prominently.
I love that clock. What are you talking about?
It looks like a pimple on a pig's arse. Are you kidding me? That is absolutely shocking. They've just chucked this in on the dashboard. Oh, you know what? I'm always a fan of the Maserati grille, but the rest of the body does nothing for me. It sounds a little bit like the last I went to the high school leavers with. But no, I'm sorry. This SUV looks more like a hatchback, and it must be the lowest ground clearance of any SUV ever. Look at it.
Yeah, right. Do you know what? Fair enough. Well, everyone's allowed their opinion. Yes, if you really tried, it could look a bit like a Puma.
I really tried.
If you really tried, right? Ground clearance. Yeah, the ground clearance is rubbish. And do you know why? Because no one, or barely anyone, buys an SUV to go off-roading in it. So, do you know what? Yeah, who gives a flying monkeys about...
Have you seen the speed bumps around yours?
That's true. Yeah, to be... Right, okay, in fairness, it would struggle. But at the same time, you don't worry.
Look,
I mean, I never worry about these practicalities, clearly based on nearly every purchase I've ever made of anything. But I don't care, man. I think it's absolutely stunning. I think it's fantastic. Tell us in the comments, are you excited about the rise of Maserati, the Gracali? I think the Gracali is going to be an absolute slam dunk, man. I think it's cracking. Do you know what? When I get mine, I just won't pick you up in it. It's fine, mate.
You know what? That sounds fair. This Maserati, it's like comparing Stuart's on this show. It's a Maserati, but shorter. There you go. That's all I'm saying.
Fair one. But tell us what you think. The Maserati Gracali, would you go for the Trofeo? Price-wise, by the way, they haven't quite confirmed it, but we reckon it's going to start maybe or kind of around the $68,000 mark. Yeah, I know. This is why I'm like really cobbling together. Can I afford it? Because I really can't. But it's. I think it's smashing. It's really grabbed me. But then again, it is for people like me. But yeah, I really like it. Tell us, do you like it too? To give you an idea, if you're listening, it looks. Well, imagine perfection, and ignore other stew. That's what it looks. That's what it looks like with a Maserati Trident on the front and the side, and the interior is stunning. So
I'll give you the badge is nice.
The badge is nice. Well, there you go. I'll take that. But there you go. The new Gracali. A lot of people are agreeing with me. But tell me, do you agree with me? Do you agree with the guys wrong? I mean, choice is yours, but it's up to you, mate. But either way, it's lovely to see a brand like Maserati coming back to life because it was very close to going out of life until recently. And Maserati, whether we like it or not, Maserati have got a huge part to play in automotive history. And I think, based on what they're doing at the moment, a huge part to play in the automotive industry's future as well, which is very, very, very exciting.
And now, some more stuff from Is It Fast? Yay!
Every now and again, we go a little bit off-piste. Most of the time, we go a little bit off-piste on Is It Fast? And today, we're bringing you something very, very different for us. Not that different. If you are bored of a V8 in your car, don't worry, guys. You can stick a V8 in your jet ski. All right. Giggity, giggity jet ski. So this is Kurt Strand's Strandcraft V8 jet ski. The Strandcraft V8 Daytona GT, I can't believe we're doing this, is a V8 jet ski that, according to them, marries power and speed for unbridled thrills. Wear a helmet with this. This is madness. They're saying, think of it as the Shelby Daytona of the high seas. I mean, there's a marketing phrase if ever I've heard one. It is. We don't know a lot about it. The details have really not been handed out. Likely to be built from fiberglass or aluminium. I don't know. Take your pick. Spans 17 feet long by 5 foot wide, weighs 1,250 pounds. You can tell this came straight out of the US. I don't know what any of those numbers are in proper money. It makes it quite a bit bigger and quite a bit heavier than an average jet ski, apparently. So that's something to behold. I mean, the pipes coming out the side of this, just to give you an idea, looks like the size of a Cobra. Shelby Cobra, if you're listening. Strandcraft have listed a myriad of fancy optional features, so they can customers can opt for carbon fiber body, wood inlays, a custom trailer, presumably to stick it on to drive it to the water, rather than a trailer that goes on the back of the jet ski, which is what I initially thought when I read the press junket. I was like, why the hell would you stick a trailer on the back of a jet ski? That's
for the kids, clearly.
Yeah, yeah. Go on, your pop, Susan and Kevin. We're going to take you out on the V8 jet ski. Don't take.
Make sure you hold on to the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez, absolutely mad. Shock absorbing seats if you want. Bespoke wrapping. I mean, the whole thing. It's meant to be beautiful, powerful, and luxurious, which I think is fair enough. That's what they write on their own website. Strand write on their own website. There's been no price listed as of yet for the Daytona GT, but it. In the press release, I mean, this is when you know you can't afford nothing. This is when the press release said, if you dream it, we'll build it. I can only imagine they've cut off the y'all. We hope to see you. Some of the basically, it'd be good to see some of these on the water at some point. But there we go. The Strandcraft Daytona. I mean, we won't hang around on this too long because time is an issue. I've just realised. But what a cool thing! It's mad though.
Yes, a V8 wet rod. I'm pretty sure we can't call it that, as children do watch this show. Kurt Strand does sound like a bad guy from a 1980s underdog movie. He's now all washed up, his drug money's all gone, and he's here to sell you a jet ski. Very, very smooth lines on it. Kind of imagine a bit of a crossover between the bikes from Tron and a lady shaver. As well, the black and aqua blue versions, very stylish. Really like the teak wood deck options that you can get, kind of very reminiscent of the stylish boats that you can see in Venice, and a massive LED touchscreen as well on it for controlling this thing. That's very cool. As you said, couldn't find a price, got no idea if they'll ship it to Kent. But I believe that you can buy one of their stainless steel's water bottles for just shy of £20. So I'm probably not holding my breath for a bit of a bargain for this jet ski.
Yeah,
it does look really cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. It does look cool, but yeah, unbelievable stuff there. So if you're in the market for a V8 jet ski, so V8 jet ski from Strandcraft there, do tell us what you think of that. Are you going to be hiring one of these when you go to Ibiza or Majorca or any of those? What's another one? What's the one in America? Florida. That's the one. Florida. Because they're incredible. Absolutely. Swashbuckling stuff. There you go. There's a water term for you. Swashbuckling stuff for the V8 jet ski, which is terrifying. Tell us what you think. Is it going to be something that you fancy?
We're about to talk about watches on Is It Fast?
Welcome to TikTok, the show where we find a watch or two that we like to talk about and share with you on the internet. And this week, we've got something pretty special. So Tissot have been on the up and up over the last few months, really. And a little while ago, they released a Tissot PRX, a watch that we enjoy a lot on TikTok, a watch so much I got one. But they've released this, haven't they? This is the new Tissot PRX Chronograph. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this, Stu?
Yeah, this is an extremely handsome watch. Obviously, the relaunch of the Tissot PRX, if you could please model it once more for us there, Stu, was, of course, an unsurprising smash hit. Lovely watch, genuinely jealous of that one. Largely because it was one of the most accessible Swiss-made watches out there. Really like the integrated bracelets, but they have now elaborated on this design. The Prx Chronograph is an automatic power reserve of about 60 hours. Again, nice steel bracelet on it. I like it, larger size. It's got this kind of sporty contrast register dial as well in it, which I really like. On your screen right now, I really like the white face and the black dial version. It kind of looks a bit like a surprise panda, but it really works for it as well. Vertical brush finish on the body and the face really suits it. And I think it's more of a rose gold, would you agree? On the hands and the hour marks as well. And even just nice little touches like the T on the dial. Always a fan of the glass back for the movement there. Yeah, this is a very, very nice watch. Do you know the price?
Please tell me the price.
The price is €1,500. Which
1,500 euros. Oh,
yes,
wow.
So it is a bit of a jump up from the PRX. It's still a nice watch. Personally, I would rather have the PRX, not the PRX Chronograph. But still a very nice watch. I don't know, though, if it's going to attract the right people for that price tag.
It's tough, isn't it? Because it does put it into a bracket that it puts the PRX into a bracket that it wasn't meant to be in.
Yes.
And I think that's where you start to struggle. It starts to go into that bracket of, say, for example, the Hamilton Ventura Elvis Skeleton 80, which has been on TikTok. Please do go and watch that.
Nice plug.
Do you like that? Yeah, I think yeah, I just is it the materials that are making it that much more expensive? Do we know, or is it how it? I can't imagine it's manufactured any differently.
I'm going to be naughty here, and I'm going to say, you know what, the PRX sold really well, guys. Let's do another version of it, and we're going to jack the price up.
Yeah, I think
Call me cynical, but
no,
yeah.
I think that's fair enough. Now, as an owner of a PRX, I can tell you that and you've held my PRX closely and tightly in your hand, and and it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't, I mean, it's not cheap. It's not like 50 quid. Do you know what I mean? But like,
no,
it's 300-400 quid, I think, or slightly more. But it feels good. The PRX is meant to be an entry level watch potentially for people that are looking to start getting into the watch collecting game. I love my PRX. I wear it all the time. It's a perfect watch that goes with loads of stuff. It is definitely pride of place in my collection. The chronograph, yeah, I think you're right. I think they've gone, the PRX has done really well, guys. Let's stick some gold on it and a chronograph bezel and all the all the workings and stuff, and get it out there. It's and just I think it's a bit of a cynical release, if I'm honest. It's still lush. It's just 1,500 euros. What's that? 1,300 quid.
Yeah,
1,400 quid, something like that. If you're watching in the US of A or you use American dollars, I believe it's about $1,700. Yeah, do you know what? Just get a PRX. Just get a PRX. If you want a chronograph at that price point, even me, a PRX fanboy, finding it hard. And Tissot fanboy, actually. I quite like Tissot. I think they're great. Maybe get something else. I'm sorry. 800 quid, 900 quid? If that was this price point, yeah, 100%. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
you can see a bit of a jump, but we're not talking the 4 times.
No,
level.
It really no.
That's what it's come to.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. But there we go. The Tissot PRX chronograph. It's not a special edition. It's not a limited run. But tell us, would you consider getting it, or would you do the right thing and get one of the selection of PRXs that aren't the chronograph version, which are frankly a little bit, just a little bit more sense. Yeah. But there we go. TikTok for another week. All done. Well, yeah, TikTok face. I enjoy that. Thanks.
Tune into Is It Fast live every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT. You are welcome.
It's the only bit of happiness I get doing this show.
I know. I'll save it for someone that's being paid to listen to your problems. Like every week, unfortunately, well, good news for some, bad news for others, we are reaching the end of the show. But something that we always like to do is we like to finish the show with a little bit of interesting news. It doesn't always come from the Daily Mail Bar of Shame, but it does usually come from the Daily Mail Bar of Shame because that's where weirdos exist. So I shouldn't really have said that. Before we disappear, Stu, do you want to talk us through what you were doing instead of working? What you found
yes. Essentially, I put on my Adidas tracky bottoms and I decided to go to my local petrol station and stole £143 worth of petrol in a wheelie bin. Essentially, this guy wheelie must have needed some petrol. Oh, come on.
I'll give it. I'll give it. Yeah.
But it's still basically a rather brazen thief, shall we say, came along. And we've got video footage here, filled up a wheelie bin and then just wheeled it away full of petrol. He stole £143 worth. It's still less embarrassing than filling up a moped, and both have 2 wheels, I suppose. I do have to wonder, what was the pump attendant thinking? Even in the kind of the you pay at the pump days now, somebody has to unlock before you get the nozzle working. Like,
it asks more questions than it answers. We know the guy lives at or lives near number 10. There's a big number 10 on the front of the wheelie bin, so we know that.
I know someone else that lives at number 10, Boris.
Yeah. Where were you on the night of the whatever? Probably doing nothing, mate, or seeing one of your 9,000 children.
But one time I had to fill up a jerry can with petrol. That was given the 3rd degree. Never mind filling up a wheelie.
Smoking a cigarette while you were doing. Oh, right, by the attendant. You didn't go up in flames, and then you were given 3rd degree burns. Right, sorry, I get.
Okay, no. I just must look like a fire starter, a twisted fire starter.
Well, I don't know the rest of the song.
Something along
That's
those
the
kind of
one.
lines.
So there you go. I mean, this must have been filmed before. I mean, filling up a wheelie bin with £143 must have been just a little dribble at the bottom at this rate. But it's there you go. Do we know what town this was in?
I'm afraid I don't actually. But apparently the thief has had a visit from the council and he's been given a £25 fine for using the wrong bin.
Very good.
You can just imagine this thing leaking because obviously petrol will dissolve plastic over time. So I hope this guy had a plan for what he was going to do with this. You can just imagine him like on the estate somewhere with his mum's favorite kind of measuring cup, pouring it out for people. I
mean, I will give you this. You always see the best in people. I hope this guy had a plan. The kind of man that goes to a forecourt with a bin to fill it full of fuel. There's not a plan. That's not a. I mean, I'm sure to him that's a good plan, but that's not.
I'm not suggesting he's the Robin Hood of petrol. I'm just saying. But you can just imagine him walking along the road as this leaks, and then somebody dropping a cigarette and just finding a little kind of fire trail in a crater where this guy used to be. That would be awesome.
£143 of fuel doesn't fill a bin though. Even a while ago. Anyway, whatever. It was probably.
It wasn't filled to the top. It was just.
It was just in there. Do you know what? I can't. Maybe there's no rules. Tell us. Are you a legal professional? Are there any rules against filling a wheelie bin with? I mean, you could argue a jerry can probably comes under some sort of legislative terminology. You know, a mobile petroleum transportation device, but it doesn't preclude a bin from being that. You know, maybe he's well within his rights, and we're just slamming a fella for being, exercising his petrol transportation God-given right.
The big thing that makes me wonder is that has Mrs. Smith at number 10 woken up in the morning to find her bin's been nicked, or has the guy just used his own bin?
Well, he's either used his own bin or, as you say, Mrs. Smith wakes up. Then you've got a fox that's got in, drank some of the petrol, and then you've got a stinky, foxy petrol bin. Oh, mate. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But there we have it. We finished this week, our first show back after the break, season 4, with a bin full of petrol, which it might be a good way to.
Off? Yeah.
I
think we've shaken the rust off. I think we'll be back and better next week.
Yeah. We do have some incredible guests on the show over the next few weeks. Tune in next week live where we do have Bradley Gravitt, the Mini Challenge driver, the man of Liqui Moly Mini. He will be on with us to dissect the weekly news and see what he has to say about all these kind of things. I imagine he's probably slightly more media trained than me or you. But make sure that you do follow us on your social media platform of choice to keep up with every single bit of what goes on Is It Fast TV, Is It Fast podcast. Make sure you do visit our website to stay up to date with all the latest news and opinion pieces from just everything that goes on. We have some incredible pieces coming on and being uploaded every single day. But as far as I'm concerned, thank you very much for tuning in live once again, 7 p.m. GMT.
Thank you very much, Stu. Yep, pleasure to be back and look forward to seeing you all again next week. But just as we sign off here, I want to give you a bit of advice, if I may. Be decisive. Right or wrong, make a decision. The road of life is paved with flat squirrels who couldn't make up their minds. Good night, everyone.
Good night. I am here in Dubai for the 2021 XCAT World Championship.
Hey, Cameron Steele here, racing the 2022 King of the Hammers.
Welcome to TikTok, the show where we review things that go on your wrist and tell the time.
Everything took a creepy turn.